All right, so here's the part where we kind of answer whatever questions somebody might have if in the event that their Rotocast stops working correctly. So we've identified a few things that can happen over the course of casting or many hours of use, and normally these are the things that will happen um, that will impede any kind of progress that you'd have with your production. So the first thing that I want to point out is that the 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 inner frame here, it spins obviously with these gears, but it's held there on that nut with this T-nut. A lot of times when you're going one direction and quickly shifting to another, it'll unlock that T-nut, and it'll start to um, back off. So probably if you're having problem with skipping or it's locking up, it won't go one direction, the first thing you want to check is this T-nut, the tightness. And to tighten that, all you need to do is tighten this bolt. So you would want to take the belt off, tighten this bolt as much as really firm actually, where you can see the T-nut flush with the wood, and then put your belt back on and you should be good to go. The second thing that could happen as far as your machine locking up is the actual rod that the gears are on decides that it's going to start moving this direction. That's almost always a result of your lock nuts being too tight. So these lock nuts against these bearings, there's a bearing here and a bearing here, they only need to be snug. The bearing will turn. You don't need to have it on there super tight. And when you do have it on there super tight, what will happen a lot of times is this pulley will cause the grip of this pulley, this bottom pulley, will cause this rod to actually turn. And then it'll push this gear against this gear, or it might turn the other way and push it off that gear. So you always want to look at these gears, and if it's a nice smooth roll like you see here, then you're good to go. If this is turning and this is not turning every so often, then you're not close enough. If it's really difficult to turn, then you're too close. So little things like that can affect the performance of the machine, and it's all mechanical. Obviously, there's nothing electronic about this, so it's very easy to fix. All of these parts are very easy to get. As a matter of fact, we designed this and built this out of our own necessity because we're obviously primarily a toy company, and we found that spending $2,000 on a rotocasting machine was ridiculous, so we decided to design our own. And when we did, we figured, well, this is pretty good, and it's a cheap alternative. It's made out of wood, not metal, and it's not electric yet anyway, doesn't have a motor on it, but it's a good machine for an at-home business. But you do have to have some knowledge of how these work, and how proper tightness and fitment makes the whole machine work really well for a long time. And so the only other thing that can probably start to happen is the top pulley and the belt, because they're both one's made out of ABS, and it's actually 3D printed ABS, and we do mold them, but the molds haven't come out as good as the 3D prints yet. We're working on it, but there obviously could be some wear with the rubber belt. You want to check the tracks, and this is ABS plastic, so it's pretty tough, and it's got 90% infill, so it's solid. But it's always, obviously with any plastic, it's going to experience some wear. So if you see that the tracks are starting to kind of edge down like you would on the tires on your car, or you see the tracks here are starting to kind of narrow in, they're creating a channel, then you're going to want to either contact us or order a new belt, which you can get anywhere basically, and then just obviously take this off and reinstall a belt. The plastic pulleys we have online, if you got your Rotocast machine within the last year, we'll just send you one. It's not a big deal, and that's basically it. The only other thing that you might notice if you're doing a heavier load, 8, 9, 10 pounds, is that if these aren't centered, this could affect the track of your belt. So try and make sure that at least visually and optimally with a ruler or a tape measure, that these plates, no matter what you're putting on it, are centered between this frame. That will balance out the load so that your machine is nice and smooth and doesn't have a lot of bounce or vibration this way or flexing this way. And that's really all there is to it. That's it.